Alright guys, now what we're going to do is follow right along the path that we just learned. We learned how to sweep our opponent once they put their weight on that forward side. Now what's going to happen is, how can they defend the sweep? As we keep learning over and over, this becomes repetitive if you understand this concept, but it's just, we have to keep discussing this. Once they defend the sweep here, what does she have to do? She has to put weight forward. Now where did her weight go? Back leg. What does that mean about this leg? It's light. That means we could go back to our initial leg hug. You see? Like I told you guys before, our whole objective in leg hug is constantly changing angles, pushing sweeps on our opponent, because when they push back, they come forward. Weight changes. My hand's already under her knee, so all we need to do now is just get her weight off of this forward leg. Once we're able to achieve this, now we're able to remove the leg from the floor like we learned before, all the different methods of peeling the dead foot, the side foot, and the live foot. You see, all these methods we're going to be using in this spot exactly like we've been doing. We just have to be able to eliminate that forward weight pressure. Following our rules of balance, we learned that when we could get our opponent's weight on this side of their body, they shall fall, right? So we're just following our same format as before. Our opponent feels their weight's going to this side. What is the only thing they can do? They can try to transfer weight back to the other leg to keep their balance. For my opponent to keep their balance, they have to put weight back to the other side and on their upper body, meaning that this leg becomes light. The weight from this leg significantly decreases after I attempt to sweep her. So basically, her weight's like an anchor. Let's say 80% of her weight on her body is on this side. When I push her this way, for her to defend, she posts her hand, now a certain percentage is already off the leg. When I come back, now a certain percentage is on this leg. Now, let's think about the percentage of weight that's on that forward leg. Significantly decrease. That's how we alter our opponent's base. Whenever we feel they put weight on one side, we go on that side and we put all their weight to that side, because then they have no base. So a concept that you guys have to understand if you have never seen my De La Riva DVD or collar sleeve with the scissor sweep, whenever your opponent has their weight on one side of their body, a certain percentage on that side of the body, and you feel that leg is heavy, we're not going to fight to lift it. We're not going to go insane to force their weight to the other side. Whenever you feel weight is on one side, your objective is to place all your opponent's weight as much as you can on that side. Because when you do that, you alter their base so much that they themselves remove the weight from that part of their body. I'm constantly doing this in every spot that I play, okay? And now that we're working all stuff on the knees, this is such an important concept. But even when they're standing, this is such an important concept. Because like I just said, in my De La Riva instructional, I over and over discuss the implications of when the weight's on the front leg, weight on the back leg. And every attack we do is when their weight's on one or the other, because we put all their weight onto that leg, okay? So I was before able to succeed in putting all her weight onto this side, taking all her weight off of this arm, putting it onto that hip, she fell. Now she's going to want to defend what I did. Her simple defense to this is just altering her weight off of that leg. But what does that mean for me? That means her weight is off that leg. I can lift it again, back to square one, right? And that's what you're going to see in this series. More and more opportunities will present themselves once you have an understanding of mastery of sweeping someone. Because every time you try to sweep someone and they defend, their base will be altered when they defend the sweep, okay? That is what we're doing. We're constantly manipulating our opponent's body, each spot, right? Again, if you've seen my other DVDs, this concept is super familiar for you by now. It better be. If you're watching my DVDs, this better be super familiar for you. If you haven't seen it, then this is a new concept. Just understand what I'm saying. I'm here. I have 60% of my weight on this leg. If I make my whole body to this leg, look how I have no base. 100% of weight on something is never good in jiu-jitsu. You want to have as much equally proportioned weight you can have on your body. So if I put all my weight on this side, I'm going to fall. My laws of balance state that if I can place all weight on one side of the body, they fall. So the second that you do this, the person has to defend, altering their weight. Now the percentage that's sitting on this leg, how my brain sees it, there's the picture. And it's like a computer, and the percentage of the weight goes up and down. So it's like, oh, this is at 80%. So you see 80% of the weight. then you see a decrease as the weight changes or increase. So I increase it. So let's say it's at 80, we move it to 100, we start sweeping them. They defend. Now all of a sudden it goes from 100 and it goes all the way down to like 40, 30, and now it's super easy to lift the leg again. Okay, that is how I want you to think about the weight distribution of the person's legs. Okay, I think that makes it super simple for you. So let's see what's gonna happen. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be closed guard. I'm going to set it up inside control. Collar sleeve. I'm going to go for your own plie. She closes. I open the leg. I get to the leg hook. She's going to put weight forward on this forward side, right? So I feel I can't lift the leg. Look, she put all her body weight on this side of my body, right? I hand fight this leg. Remember, we can use this collar to do all our fights here. Elbows closed. I can walk. She defends. I put my foot here. All I'm going to do is I try to lift. I can't. So I bring my knees up. I press pressure. She seems weight forward. I go on my body like this. Look. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to hook and my knee's going to be here. I'm going to attempt to sweep her. Like before. Look, I can't sweep her. What does that mean? Where's your weight right now, Tommy?
On this side?
You're putting pressure with your chest, right?
Yes.
As she puts pressure with her chest, notice now her upper body she's using. Something I want you guys to understand is whenever my opponent uses their upper body, I'm going to take advantage of them using their upper body. How am I hurting your leg?
Oh no, I don't want to hurt your arm.
No, you're fine. How do I take advantage of using her upper body? When her weight's on her upper body, I'm going to put more weight to her upper body. Again, because any spot she puts weight, I want to put all her weight to that spot because it makes her whole body weak in the other spots. So when she's here and I get to this spot, so you have weight, I'm lifting, I can't, I'm here, I get on my shoulder, I'm here, I start trying to sweep, I can't, right? She's putting weight forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab now this back shoulder. Look what I'm going to do. As I do this, look what I can do now. I can pull her body on top of me like this. Okay? I can even do this with this collar, but I just have to use this foot on her body to do this. Once I do this, look what I can do now. I push her weight all to that back leg. So now stay heavy here. Over your leg. I lift and take the leg off the floor. Back to square one. Again, I'm in this spot. Here, I'm trying to leg hook. I can't. She's too heavy. I try to pull. I can't. I go on my shoulder. Look. Again, here. I try to sweep. I can't. She's putting weight forward. I just pull her body on top of me like this. Once her body's on top of me, how much weight do you have on this leg?
Not a lot of it.
So try to keep your leg bent a little bit. Look. Now I can lift up the leg. Back to leg hook. Back to 50-50. Back to 70-30. Back to waiter. Back to kiss of the dragon. Back to the footlock. Back to reverse waiter. You guys see how many attacks there are from these spots, you know? That is how we're setting everything up. We're just flowing and putting everything together. Okay? So I want you, every time you feel that you're trying to sweep her one direction, she's going to put weight back. The second you feel it comes back, you're just going to go with her, put her weight where it's going, and then you're going to pull that leg up. So again. Here, I'm hand fighting this. I connect my foot to shoulder, I hug. Either way is fine. I just push. I try to push. I can't. She's putting weight down. So all I do is go 1, 2. Her weight wasn't exactly down, but I still got on my shoulder. So now I'm here. I start trying to sweep her. She puts weight back forward. Look. Look how she literally lifts up her leg when she does this to defend. Now look. Keep your weight on your leg a little more, please. So put your weight back down here. Now I do the drill from before. Shoulder to my body. Using my knee under as a wedge. I lift up the toe. I bring her leg up. Now I end up here. Even a steamer lock, I could do here. You know, here, in front of the stomach. Again. See how I fall, I use the momentum, then I raise her knee into my shoulder. Once I get the knee in my shoulder, we're back to the drill from before. Side of the foot, lifted it up. Sit down, please. Yeah. Let's change it goes. Really down a little more, please. Yeah. You're wearing full leg? Yeah. There you go. From here, trying to go here. I feel like I'm able to move her weight off, but she's leaning now. Look at it.
Okay.
Trying to lift up. I go here. I'm trying to push her neck away. I'm trying to do the elbow concept. Her head is so much on this side. Bring your head this way. Look at your head. Look. Now look, I can't move her head or body. You see, I can't lift this up because she's putting weight. So all I do is this. I put my shin and I start sweeping. You see, now come back. So I'm here. I try to sweep. She puts weight forward with her chest. Now this happens. Look, I push her head away. Now look, I can get to the armpit, knee in. Look where I end up. Knee on my chest. Pack your bags, war's over. So as you guys see, immediately when she defends this spot, it gives me the perfect setup to get into leg hug and do our another attack. So we're using a sweep, we're changing the percentage in our mind. We see this digital scale of my weight on my leg, and we see it alter based on my base here, based on how I move her. And then at the end of this whole sequence, you'll see how light her leg is. Okay? So we're gonna continue with what we're doing now, and we're gonna work from there. Okay guys, now we're going to go on to the next thing. I showed you a method of going on your shoulder to deal with when the person's weight's on the front leg. Now I'm going to show you one more method, an alternative method that you could use to change the person's, misalign your opponent's spine. Okay? And I'm going to do this by altering our foot placement. This will be the first introduction you guys will see to our foot being on the opposite side of her head. So before, my foot was fighting her armpit, shoulder, right on this side of her body. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to move my head because the elbow's closed. I can't get under the armpit and I can't move her neck. So I'm going to bring my leg over her head to move her neck. I used this variation in Worlds 2017 when I beat Ari Faris. I swept him in 10 seconds with this position. It was one of the craziest things ever, how fast I was. Like, I needed to sweep him and I was able to sweep him with like 15 seconds left. I finished this sweep on him with this spot, okay? his elbow is closed and I couldn't do the armpit. I went to the neck. I threw my leg over and that framed the head. You see? So we're using our leg basically like we're using our arm. Again, using it to alter her base. So now she can't, even though she was driving forward, it's going to make her back again. And then we're going to be able to do what we did previously. Okay? So this method of using your leg on the other side of the head will help you a lot in this scenario to be able to move her body off of that front. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be closed guard. I can set up the leg hug however we want, right? We learned a billion ways to do it. So my legs are here, spider, collar sleeve, double last. So I go here, I start pulling the collar, she goes here, I open, I get my hand in, I get to this spot here. So we learned previously what I try to do is I try to do the armpit, 1. If she closes the armpit, I go to the neck, 2. But then if she puts all her weight on that leg, I can't do either or, right? So then I have to go on my shoulder before, right? So what are we going to do different now? All we're going to do different is this. I hand fight her leg first, right? That's a consistent. That's step 0. Because we need this leg first. So I hand fight. I get my foot to her shoulder. Now what I'm going to do is this. She's going to stay leaning forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my hand in the leg hug. I'm going to push her neck. She's going to drive into it, right? I'm going to bring my leg over her head like this. Once I bring my leg over her head, look where my leg is going to go. It's going to go on top of her head. So now put pressure to me. Look how she loses the pressure she had on my body. Are you able to drive into me when I do this?
Like here?
You see, like it's very hard, right?
No, I can't. I feel like I'm getting pushed.
Because I'm underhooking this leg, I'm in perfect spot to attack. And also, notice her elbow, how it's still inside. She keeps her elbow inside when I do this. Look what I can do. I can just grab the wrist, attack an omoplata. So when I start doing this, what she's going to do is she's going to bring her elbow in and posture up. Like this. Yes. Now look. Now look how I can go leg hug now. So again. You see how when I switch legs to the other side of her head, it completely compromises that forward pressure, right? So that's how I'm able to do this, guys. So I'm here. My feet on the hips. I'm going spider, lasso, here, here. Collar sleeve, pressures. I bring my leg in, I get to the spot. She's driving. I can't push and I can't open the armpit. So both our things from before are off now, right? So what do? We hand fight this leg, either elbow in closed versus open concept, right? If I can walk, I win. If she opens, I go in like this. We go here. I push the neck a little bit. She's fighting me, right? I can't beat her neck because her head is facing and she's driving into my grip. Her elbow's closed. I can't beat it. So all I do is this. I throw my leg over. Look, I throw my leg over. And I now, look how I end up with my shoulder when I throw my leg over. Look. Now look at all I do. If her leg stays in, I can attack an omoplata. And surprisingly so, this actually happens a lot for me. I end up in a lot of omoplatas when I get here. Because the opponent's arm is stuck in when they're driving. They're not even thinking about it. So I can just attack an omoplata. You see? If they defend the omoplata, what do they have to do? They have to bring their elbow in, right? Once their elbow's in, look how weak their base is on their leg. Get the knee to your shoulder. Look, the knee's on top of my shoulder again. Now I can go to 2 grips on 1, lift up the leg. Now I'm back in all our attacks here. Again. Let's angle ourselves this way. Sorry. I'm here. Get to the double sleeves. I back up. I go lasso here. Start going collar sleeve. Her elbow closes. I underhook. I got the leg. She puts weight forward on me. All I do is this. She's grabbing my leg. I push the shoulder. I hand fight, foot in, elbow closed. I walk on top of her shoulder. I get here. Once I push the elbow neck, she drives in and looks toward me. Once I do this, I throw my leg over her neck like this. Look how my leg goes on top of her head. Pressure me. What stops her from pressuring me is my hand is on my knee like a pillow. So if you watch my collar sleeve lesson, if you just go regular here, what you learn in my collar sleeve lesson is I show a modified collar sleeve that whenever the person takes off my connection of my foot to her bicep, I connect my knee under my hand. Because now smash me. She can't because of this knee. I call it a pillow grip. Because it's like laying on top. My hand is like laying on top of it. It's like a pillow on top of my leg. It's like a cushion. It gives it extra support. Okay. So it's like, that's why I'm saying it's like a pillow, because it's just laying on top of it. And once you add that wedge, once you add this in, your knee and hand on top of each other, it creates a super strong force because she can't push down your grip anymore. So it makes it significantly stronger if you add that pillow grip in. So when I'm here, and I add a pillow grip in and she takes off my foot on the bicep, look, let me go and fight it back. I can go here, look, I can start doing things like this, which you learn in my collar sleeve system, okay? So when I'm in leg hug, and I'm here, and her elbows, and she's here, and I get my leg like this, look how the grip on her knee is like a pillow. You see how my knee grip is a pillow, so pressure me? She can't, because now it's my leg against her head, you see? Now look, I put pressure, and I beat down her head like this. Now look where I am. I can even step on her head if I want to add more pressure. Now look what I can do. I already redirected her spine, right? Her knee is on top of my shoulder. What does that mean for us? That means I can grab the foot, lift it up, putting me in all our attacking opportunities. Get other side. Here, we're closest. I go here, boom. She jives, she's here. I'm fighting her here, she's fighting, boom. I walk my hand, I can't, boom. I get my foot here. All I have to do is win the hand fight. I can switch to this collar if I need to. I don't necessarily need to switch to the collar. I sometimes do just to help me move her shoulder back. Because if her shoulder is forward, it's going to be hard for me to circle, you see. So when I punch back, it helps me move my foot. Now I'm here, I'm pushing her neck away. I'm trying to do the concept from the beginning. I can't. Another thing you guys can do to help you bring your leg to the other side, I can grab the shoulder like this. When I fought Ari, I just grabbed its shoulder, like a grip on the shoulder. I feel like that helps me as well to push her body. So drive, I go like this. Now I have my leg over her head, you see, but I would prefer to have the collar grip because I could do the pillow. But if I don't have the collar grip, I can still do the same thing, so drive into me. My knee is on my hand still, you see how I can put my wrist on top of my knee? Now I can push the same way, look. I could get the sleeve, awesome, because then I could put my hand under her elbow, try closing her elbow. See, I can open her elbow now and attack an omoplata. If she keeps closed, when we're here, she's keeping closed, look how weak her foot is. Now I can open her foot. I can start getting into different attacks. Again. So now we have two things so far. We just introduced the pillow of my leg going across her head to help us get to this leg hug, right? So here. I'm here. The arm is here. She's putting pressure. Her head is facing me. I can't do any of our rules from before. So I keep the collar. I can punch the neck, or I can grab the shoulder and punch the neck and help me get up. So I go like this. 1, 2. I'm here. 1, 2. You see how both accomplish the same thing? And look how my knee ends up in the same spot anyway. So now drive into me. 1, or 2. So guys, you see this omoplata opportunity that I'm able to attack. You're not hurting my hand.
Oh, yeah, I just don't want pressure on her.
You see this omoplata opportunity I'm able to attack every time I'm here when her elbow is closed. I'm going to really fight to open her elbow because the more she focuses on her elbow, the less strength you have in your leg, right? It's going to put a lot of less pressure on her leg as she keeps her elbow closed. But surprisingly so, you'll see yourself get a lot of omoplatas in this spot. Because 1, A, your hips are up. So you have a lot of pressure. 2, my arm was like in a weird spot.
Sorry.
No. 2, it wasn't pressuring, it was just my elbows back. 2, her elbow is inside my legs. So if I'm able to possibly wedge it off of her, I could really attack the omoplata. And 3, she's leaning forward. What do we learn about submissions? Whenever our opponent's leaning forward and their arm loses disconnection from their hip, the omoplata is super easy. Okay? So this is a super good omoplata opportunity, but I'm not even focused on it. I'm going to go for it because I see it, but I know if she closes, it's no problem for me. I'm going to still get the leg hug. So it's a win-win. Always putting our opponent in these predicaments. Okay, so let's do it again. Yeah. I have the sleeves. Spider. Get here. She's leaning forward. She's playing pressure. I circle. I get here. I'm here. Hey, punch the neck. Punch the neck. 1. Here. Oh yeah, I can do the hip right here, just so they can keep the elbow closed. I get here, shoulder. 2. Once I get here, look. If I bring my hips up more, look, I could even possibly do a Kimura sweep on her if I bring her body this way.
Sorry.
I can even possibly do a Kimura sweep on her if I go this way. So as I put pressure, look, I get it's an elbow. You go for the omoplata. If I go for the omoplata, I take out my arm. So if I keep my leg under, I could do some sweeping opportunities here, but I would prefer if I could frame the hip or knee, get my body over, and now I end up in this omoplata. Okay, so again, I'm here. Elbow close, please. Yes. Now you're here. Elbow close, please. Try to keep your leg down. No, bring your weight back this way. Here. That's other side. Here. Go live for this time, so it's a different exchange. Yeah. Fighting here, see, look, all on her this side. Look how I do it. Just go like this. I got the omoplata that time. I couldn't. Now it's dead foot. I get the knee on my shoulder. Now it comes up. Again, square. Okay, here. I'm in this spot. She's still driving. She's still driving. I push her head. You see, if I lock my hands like this, now I have nothing defending me here. So that's why I always have to keep one hand pushing like this. Once I get the connection, I can let go and start moving her this direction. You see? Okay guys, so I want you to add this into your drills. You see that this cross leg is actually going to be game changing to you. Because now you're not going to just be using your arm to misdirect their spine. You're going to be able to use your leg as well. So it's a win-win. You know, it's going to help you do what we were doing before. It's just going to make it stronger. So we're going to add this in now to the drills, and we're going to keep going from there. Okay guys, now what I'm going to show you is another scenario that my opponent can give me in terms of base. What my opponent's going to do is she's going to posture and give me almost like a deadlift base. You know, she has a strong back, she has strong knees, like she's just strong. So what's going to happen? To the beach. What's going to happen is she's going to do this deadlift posture. Obviously, I already am under her leg. So what I'm going to feel like is I can't pull her to me. There's no more pulling her to me because there's no weight on her arms anymore. It's just all on her huge, huge back and legs. So that's what we're going to do in this spot. I'm going to get to the leg hug, and she's gonna flex her huge back. Gonna end up in a deadlift spot, and I'm going to go around her leg. And
You got jokes, huh?
I'm gonna end up into the leg hug. Okay. So I'm gonna be here. I'm going to set up the leg hug all the cool ways that we know so far. I'm gonna go boom, boom. Collar sleeve. Her elbow's gonna close. I'm gonna get to the leg hug. So once I get to, you could be normal first.
Okay.
Once I get to the leg hug, the base she's going to give me is she's gonna feel that I'm trying to push her butt to her heel. She's gonna remove her butt from her heel. She's gonna posture up like so. Notice her arm's gonna be pretty high up. I'm gonna feel like there's no weight for me to pull on me, right? So what am I going to do? I'm gonna drop my knee. I'm going to invert by stepping on her, however I want. I'm gonna go on my body like so. Once I get here, I'm going to bring my knee to the floor. I'm going to walk my head to the side of her. Stay up, please.
Oh.
So I bring my hips up. I'm going to walk my head to the side of her body. Now I'm going to bring her knee on top of my body. And now notice what's going to happen to her base. My whole body is on this side of her. So now she has no balance on this side of her body because I basically flanked around her body. Once I get here, I'm going to grab her toe, lift up her leg, and now we're back in the traditional spots that we were from before. Okay, so again. From here. Spider lasso. Collar sleeve. I close her elbow. I get to the leg hug. She postures up. When she postures, I can't break her balance. I can't do anything. So I'm just going to push. I'm going to step on her shoulder even. I'm just going to step my foot wherever I feel helps me get up. I'm going to help myself get up like this. Now I'm going to keep my foot in her shoulder. I'm going to walk on my head like this. Once I get here, I'm going to walk on my shoulder. I'm going to walk on my shoulder. Look how I walk on my shoulder. Once I get here, I'm going to put her knee on top of my arm, removing her leg from the floor. I'm going to go 2 grips on her leg, like so. I'm going to remove her leg from the mat. Now I can end up reverse the Lahiva and all my options from here. So you see, guys, how when she does this deadlift, she's anchoring herself. Like I keep explaining what the anchor is. And the anchor, I pull her head to me. That's 1. 2, I can't pull her to me. I go to her. When I'm doing leg hug, I'm pulling to her. She creates that anchor in her leg, that her leg feels super heavy. I can't pull her upper body, so I just move my head to her. You see? That's all we're doing here. We're just following our standard rules of jiu-jitsu. Anchor versus manually moving. Okay? So I go for the leg hug. Before her weight's on her butt, she's sitting down. She's using her arms, pushing me. This time, she uses her posture and deadlift in her back. Now I can't lift up her leg anymore. So what does that mean? I can't lift up her leg, so I'm going to lift myself up with her leg. That's kind of a rule of thumb for you guys that you can start thinking about. If I can't lift up her leg, I lift myself up using the leg I can't lift up. Okay? You see how it's the opposite of what you did before, but it's literally the same thing. I'm still lifting something, just my body this time instead of lifting her leg. I lift, I start angling myself around this knee. Once I get around it, I end up in a spot where she's super compromised because there's no more balance on this side once my body is on this side. Remember how I said before, for someone to balance on this side with their butt, if their butt exceeds their heel, they fall. Okay? If I make my heel in front of my butt, I have balance. But if I place my body on this side of their heel, notice, now it's like my butt is again outside her heel. It's the same thing as this. So she has no base on this side. The only way to base would be back. That's why I could lift the leg up. So again, here. Close elbow, I lift, I get the under her, I go here. Go live feet, please, Simon. That's gonna help you stay up. If we're bigger people, this is a great move, okay? My sister's a little smaller than me, so it's gonna be more difficult to do it with someone smaller than you because it'll feel easier just to lift up their leg.
You have a bigger personality, though.
Yeah, you make it up with your personality. Okay, so I'm here. I lift up my leg. I step. I go on my shoulder like this, and I come up like this. Once I get here, notice, guys. If we get a shooting team, I want them to see how I'm climbing underneath. So if you can just go here, you just keep your back flexed. You know, keep the gun showing.
Always.
Yep. So I'm here. Notice how her heel and knee are still like she still has balance. As I walk with my knee on the floor, look how my body is already in front of her knee. Now I simply can lift up her leg and go to the spot from before. Do you have any balance on this side?
No, you took my leg off the
You see how it completely dominates this side completely? Now look how I can lift up her leg. You see? Now she falls she posts and now we land in this spot. Okay? So again. Here. Power sleeve. Here. She postures up. She does the devil. I lift myself up. All I do now is I go here and I gotta put my knee to the floor. So post your knees on the floor. Yes. If you're having trouble doing this, that means the person's leg is light. You can lift it up. I move myself. I get to this side of her body. I take her knee off the floor. I grab the hip. Once I get here, she falls. End up in all our spots from before. Okay. I can grab anything I want to help me get up. I can even just use my body to do it, you see? I don't have to even grab anything. I can just bring my knee to my chest and help myself invert. I can step on her to help me invert. When all her weight's on this leg, it's going to be very easy to get on your shoulder. You just swing, bring your body up. Her knee is here. I move my head. So I'm stepping on the floor with my head and my knee. My head's on the mat and my knee is on the mat. So I can move. Now I can lift the foot off the floor. Now I'm back in the spot. Okay, so now I'm here. Again. I get here. My knee's on the floor. I walk with my knee and my head. Keep your knee on the floor. Yep. I walk. I get here. Once I get here, if she has live foot, I can go to the upper part of her body first, to then move the bottom. If she has dead, we do other things. But typically the deadlift will be when they have live foot, I believe. But the people, when they're bigger and stronger than you, they could probably do dead foot and posture like that as well. You know, like someone 200 pounds. They can kind of deadlift in every spot you try to do. So, here.
My 200 pounds of personality?
Yes. 99% plus one. I agree. Yeah. Hey, go on my shoulder. Once I get here, if she pressures me and starts putting weight on me, now her upper body's heavy again. What does that mean? That means I can push her armpit. And now I can start going leg hug. So if she doesn't pressure me forward, she just stays back, then I just stay with what I'm doing. I climb around her. She decides to come into me, then we do all the things from before, right? With her head, this, all of our easy things from before. Now she's posturing. I just go on my shoulder. I walk, I bring the knee off the floor. Once I get the knee off the floor, I go 2 on 1. On the toe, look. Now I'm in the spot from before. Go. Again, sorry.
Do I do it the opposite way? Like,
Yeah. Do that, yeah.
I can see my posting. Used to.
Of course. You can see your back from a different angle. Here. I get here. You go on the toe. My arm goes under. Attach. You get here. So you guys see how we're able to make all these cool combinations and setups from this leg hug exchange, and how when there's no weight on my upper body, it becomes rather easy for me to get on my shoulder because she literally pulls me up. It's exactly like I said, the concept of manually moving versus anchoring someone. The anchoring. So before we manually move the knee into our shoulder, now because she's doing the anchor, I move myself off of her anchor, and then I move the knee onto my shoulder. Instead of before I had to pull her knee onto my shoulder, I move myself to her knee. You see the difference? It's just exactly that everywhere pretty much I do this. So we're going to continue from here. This was the deadlift scenario where my opponent deadlifts, and we're going to keep going from here. Okay guys, now I'm going to show you another common counter that could happen when you're doing leg hug. And this scenario is going to be very dangerous if you don't know how to address it correctly, right? It's all about understanding the body always, right? And this scenario, my opponent is going to remove my leg hug hook from her body. Okay, and this could be very dangerous, right? Because that's our frame protecting us with the ASIS. If they remove that frame, they could get to our head, right? Because there's nothing stopping my ASIS from coming forward. So if you could lay down, please. So when she goes leg hug on me, this is what's gonna happen. If I'm leaning here, obviously it's super easy for her to lift up my leg, right? But what's gonna happen is I'm gonna posture up, I'm gonna peel the foot. And as I peel the foot, I'm going to go to the head. You see? So notice, what did I do? When she's here, I postured and removed her toe from my body. Now my ASIS can come forward. Look. Now I can go to the head and pass the guard. Okay, so notice, the second she loses this frame on my body, her fort is very compromised. Okay, so what is our rule in Jiu-Jitsu? You can see. What is our rule in Jiu-Jitsu? Our rule is when our opponent addresses one of our frames in our fort, we need to use our other frames on her body to save us, okay? So now the leg positioning I'm going to use to save us in this spot is going to be a little different, but it's going to address that hole in our fort, so our frame, in our fort, so our overall fort doesn't collapse, okay? We're gonna fix that frame with the other frames that we have on our body. That's our rules in Jiu-Jitsu, right? Every time our opponent removes a frame from us, we use our other frames to fix our fort. Okay, so what do we have to fix? Let's think about it. She's coming forward with her body. I lost my frame on her ASIS. So what I'm thinking about doing now is using my body to fix that spot with my other frames to address that ASIS. There's two ways that we could adjust the ASIS, right? One being the upper body under the armpit, right? Because remember in the beginning of this series, I showed you that if we frame under the armpit, I won't be able to bring my ASIS forward anymore. You see, it stops my hip from coming forward. As well as I could actually use my other leg, which you're going to see now, to frame that ASIS as well. Because she's adjusting that leg, I'm gonna use my back leg, okay? So this is what I'm thinking about doing here, and it's just following our simple rules of Jiu-Jitsu, right? What is our rules of Jiu-Jitsu? Our rules are, when in our overall fort, when the person disrupts our fort of getting rid of one of our frames, we're going to use our other frames to address that hole in our fort. And once we use our other frames, we can get back to our initial frame. And that's what we're always doing in jiu-jitsu. Every spot, every part of guard. That's why frames are so important, because the more frames you have, the easier it is to do this. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be going for the leg hug. I'm gonna be in this spot. I'm gonna attack the leg hug here. My opponent's gonna posture up. She's gonna remove my leg like this, and she's gonna be in this spot. Okay, so notice, I lost my frame on her ASIS, so she can walk it forward and bring her upper body forward and pass. Okay, so what do I have to do here? What I have to do is I have to think about this hip and this armpit. The second she starts putting her upper body forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame her armpit like so. I'm going to move my body out, and I'm going to place my foot and hand on her hip. Now, the placement of my hand and foot are going to vary depending on how much posture she has and how much she's leaning. If she's leaning more, I'm going to be pushing more with my foot on her armpit and my hand on her hip to back my leg up to now place my foot back to the same spot as before. Now I can bring the knee on top of my shoulder, lift up the foot, and go back to leg hug from 50-50. Case back. So I'm here, and my hug. My opponent postures up, they start removing their leg. She's posturing now, look. So instead of before when I went to the foot here, I'm gonna put my foot immediately to the armpit like this. And now I'm gonna use my hand on the armpit, look. Now I can start backing my leg up, bringing my foot back to the leg hook. Notice, what did I do now? I followed our rules of frames, right? Remember how I discussed, she removed my ASIS. So I used two things now to protect me on this side. If I can frame her armpit and hip on that one side, it's gonna be very difficult for her to put weight on me and pressure forward on me. So that's why I'm doing it how I am. The second we frame that ASIS and armpit, she won't be able to come forward. And she does, she's driving into a wall, right? So like we're here, she peels my leg, come forward. It's hard, right? Now I can back my leg up, Look how it's making her lean even more. Now look, I can bring my leg back in. Once I get here, I lift the leg up and go to the toes. And now I'm back in 50-50. So again, and here. And the leg, she postures, she starts peeling. Look, I frame the shoulder and my foot on the hip. I could also be in this format as well. Both are fine. If my foot's in the armpit, it'll be a little easier. It'll be a little easier to peel this, probably, than if I'm here. But both are fine because even if she holds like this, I bring her into my chest, I come back. You see? So both hand placements are fine. For sure, our goal is eventually to get this to the hip if we can, because I feel like I'm a little safer here, personally. But I just have to be careful of her taking off this foot also. So no, like you peel, use your other arm please. You peel, and now here you got my big toe. And now pull, yes. So that's why I need to be addressing both fronts. So she starts peeling, look, I'm on the armpit, look. Now look how she lost, now look. Then I can push her armpit with my foot or hand. Okay, so I'm telling you can use either or, but we just need to be very safe here. So come back. Feel my foot. Look how I'm pushing both. Or look how I'm pushing both. Now my foot comes in. Now I can get to the leg. Okay. Look, she's still staying strong here. She's still staying strong, look. See how I'm able to take my leg out every time here? And now she has to start facing me, right? And now look. I have the leg again, just like before. Okay. So I get to this spot. Look. So I'm pushing the armpit, So now look, I can go here. I can start lifting. She's gonna start putting weight forward on this leg. Look, now my leg comes down. Now I get to here. I get to the double foot grip. I have her leg on top of my arm. I have the wedge, right? Once I have the wedge, I can lift up her leg. Now back into the 50-50. All my spots here where I can even attack a foot lock here. Okay, again. Look how I'm already taking her leg up. She doesn't fight me back. Look how I can already lift her leg and start going to leg up like before, right? Because she needs to put weight back on her legs here to defend. Now she puts weight back on her legs. Look. She loses the strength in her arms. I keep peeling my legs. So I feel like that's what's happening. When I'm here, she peels my leg. And I'm here, I push her all the way onto her arms. She has to put weight back on her legs to stay based. The second she does that, she loses strength in her arms to keep hitting my leg. Now my foot's able to come back. Now I can get armpit control, right? Because I already opened her armpit and elbow, okay? If she starts putting a lot of weight into me, I want you guys to keep your elbow in this range so you're keeping pressure here, and my foot's like this, right? So now I'm framing both sides, and back up, I put weight here, she puts weight back on her leg, look at my leg comes back. Now I can go here, oh, get the grip, I get to the spot here. Okay, so, as you guys see, this is just an understanding of how to use your hips when she's peeling your legs. We make those two frames, armpit and hip. Once she removes that, we go right back to the spot. All right? That's all we're doing here. And it's just an understanding of our simple concept in Jiu-Jitsu of the fort, overall fort, and when they disrupt one of our frames, which is what the fort consists of, right? A fort is an accumulation of frames. When they kill one of our frames, we use all our other frames to address that fort. We have to adjust the ASIS. If we don't, she can keep coming forward. So once we adjust the ASIS with the armpit and hip, she can't come forward, creating this wall. Whenever we create a wall, which are frames, and the person drives into it, that helps us regroup our guard. I love this scenario actually on bottom because it makes it easier to lift up the leg because they're driving forward, their base is compromised. So sometimes when the person does this, I actually like it because it helps me get to leg hook even easier if the person has a very heavy leg, like if they feel very strong there, okay? So I want you to play with this, focus on those frames, and let your partner drive into you. Let them try to pass your guard. And notice whenever, I want you to try to break that grip on your leg. So notice if the person feels like they're holding that leg very strong, lift up their leg and do leg hook. If you feel like you're starting to lift up, they're gonna start putting weight in their legs. When they do that, your back leg is gonna come out, okay? So you make them, there's a correlation between that. For me to keep the leg down when I peel, I push the leg down. For me to keep that leg down, I need to keep weight on my upper body, which makes my leg light. So I start lifting up the leg, I have to put weight down on that leg again. Now what happened? I have no more strength in my arm. Now the leg comes back. Now leg hook happens, okay? So play with that scenario. Make the person have that dilemma when you're drilling, and we're gonna keep continuing from there. Before we continue on to the next material, I wanna give you one more scenario that I do use the back collar a lot of times, and you'll see why I'm using the back collar, and I just wanted to address this because you might feel that the person's kind of leaning on you with their upper body, right? Because some people, when you start holding their legs, what they do is they don't make their legs heavy. They just put all their weight forward on their upper body. I kind of showed you before how to adjust the frames here, but I'm just going to give you one more option so you guys have this while you're playing with it, okay? So I'm going to be here. I'm going to set up the leg hug. I'm going to be here. Get the leg hug here. Now when I'm here, my opponent's going to be putting a lot of weight forward. She's going to be grabbing my collar, going to be grabbing my ankle. She's going to be leaning on me a lot, right? And if she puts a lot of weight on her upper body, she might be able to take out her leg, you see, and get out of this spot, okay? So I have to know how to adjust this. And I have to understand that all her weight's on her upper body, which is good for me. I just have to learn how to use my, I just have to learn how to put more weight on her upper body. So what am I going to do? I'm going to push, I'm going to hook her shoulder. I'm going to put weight on this collar now, right? So keep leaning. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my shin. I'm going to push her back. I'm going to put my knee on her belly button like this. Okay, so lean forward. I'm going to go like this. Here. And now I'm going to put my knee on her belly button. Look, I'm going to load her up like this. Once I load her up, look how light her leg is. Now I'm gonna grab the leg. I'm gonna end up in the 50-50, 70-30, all the spots here. Okay, so what am I doing again? What I'm doing is, I feel her weight on the upper body, I'm not gonna push against it. When I go leg hug, and I push against her weight being on the upper body, she's gonna feel very heavy, look. But when I'm here, if I go with it, so she's putting weight, I push back so she leans more. Look, all I'm gonna do now is hook her shoulder, look, I bring her head up more. As I do this, I'm gonna bring my knee down to her belly button. Why? Because now her whole body's sitting on top of me, you see? So once I do this, look how I have her whole body on top of my shin. So I go like this. I push back, she's putting weight forward, I bring her body like this. I end up in this spot. Look how my knee is on her belly button. Look how I'm using the collar grip, and now look how light her leg is. Now I can move her leg down, and I can end up in 70-30, 50-50, the foot lock, all this stuff from here. Okay, so again, and what am I doing with this hand? What I'm doing is I'm doing the pillow grip. What is the pillow grip again? The pillow grip is whenever I'm using my knee as a support to my hand. When I do this, it makes my grip very strong. I'm able to open my hip, so I'm able to create slack on the gi, and then I'm able to use my knee to help me lift her at the same time. Okay, so when I'm here, and she's putting weight on me, and I push, look how I hook her shoulder, I put my knee down, I put pressure back, and now look what I can do. Look, so come back. So as I load her, look, I'm hooking the shoulder, I push, she's putting weight forward, drive into me, move your arms. Yeah, here. All I do is this. My knee falls to the floor. This bottom knee falls to the floor. I'm here, I push back, she drives into me, I load her. I lift up her shoulder like this. Once I do this, I'm gonna bring her leg up. You see? Once I get to this spot, put weight on me, she can't anymore. Now this leg is super light. So now I can go to our spots here. And I can end up in our spots here. Again. Here. Look what I do, come back. So I push, I use my hand, I push back, I move my knee down. My knee falls to the floor, I go on her belly button. I push back and look how I load. Look how all her weight's on her torso now. Look how light her leg is. Now I can load her leg up here and start going to attacks. Again. Guys, I use this position so much when the person's leaning on me. I'm big guys too, like heavy people. Because when you do this, they all get off balance because they're putting all their weight forward. Then you're able to just load them so easy. So here, all I gotta do is hook the shoulder now, look. Now put weight on me. Now I go knee shield, look, here. Once I go knee shield, look how my knee goes to her belly button. I push, and now look what's gonna happen. I load on top of me, look. I use my shin to keep her on top of my body. I use my other shin to put her leg on top of my body. Look how my whole body's keeping her up right now. My shin on her body, and my other shin on top of this leg. Now I'll put your weight down. You see how I'm able to stay here? This is how I have full control of her upper body. Look how her upper body's all on me. Look how light her leg is. Now all I have to do is frame and push her to her back leg. You see? Once I do this, I can hook, and now I can go to 50-50 in all our attacks from here. Okay, so again, from here. Here she's leaning. I push, I hook the shoulder. I punch, now put weight forward. If she doesn't put weight forward, you can do all the things from before. So she's putting weight forward. Now all I do is this, I go on the belly button. As I go to the belly button, look what I do. I push, she puts weight forward, I scoop my hip in. So I go like this, 1. And now look, I get my shin on top of her body, my other shin on top of this leg. Now look, I have control of her leg. So now I can hold the leg, push her back, And now I can get to 50-50 in all the spots here. So again, I'm here. She's putting weight on me. She's driving up. I push the shoulder, I hook the armpit. She might be holding my ankle. I circle. All the circling things we learned before, right? How did we learn to do this? Using my hand on this shoulder, punch, knee to chest, 1. Close your elbow. 2. I gotta get to the armpit now, look. Now put weight on me. I push, I bring my hip in. Now look, I bring my knee to her belly button. I get my shin to carry her weight and my other shin to carry her weight. Once I get here, I underhook the leg. I push away, look. Now look where I am. Look where I am. Okay, again. Change sides. And look how I'm holding the far collar now. You see? I'm not misaligning her neck anymore. I'm actually using her upper body just on top of me. So you see the difference from before? Before, all I was trying to do is this. Now, because she's putting all her weight on her upper body, now instead of doing that style, I'm just pulling her forward. Look. And look how I can grab her leg. Again. I gotta load her up. Now I get here. Now I can do any attack I want. One more time this way so you can see this leg. Now my knee and her belly button gives me the pressure here, so now her weight could go down here. Now I'm in this spot. Okay, so as you guys see, for each scenario, we respond differently. Before, when she was posturing deadlifting, I was going on my shoulder, right? For this scenario, she's putting all her weight forward. So now I'm pulling her forward, you see? So sometimes I'm pushing her back, sometimes I'm pushing her forward. It just all depends on the situation, you know? And that's what jiu-jitsu is. It's all dependent on how my opponent's reacting. If I was trying this when the person's deadlifting, it wouldn't work. If I was trying the going on my shoulder when the person's leaning with their arms forward, it would be impossible. Not impossible, it would be very hard. You see, because we'd be forcing. So that's why we're always following what our opponent gives us and we're gonna go with it, okay? So now we have positions from the leg hug. When the person's deadlifting, posturing, when the person's leaning forward with their arms, when the person's putting all the weight on this leg, when the person's just normal, if we can move the head, the armpit. So I feel like I really gave you guys a great foundation from here where any scenario the person gives you, you kind of know how to adjust it, okay? So we're gonna keep moving on from here, but as you guys see how reaction-based the things we do, and this is another example of when I'm using the far collar. So we're gonna keep continuing here and we'll continue on. Let's